The making of bitters is an interesting process. As we've seen, there's a lot that happens before we can add a few dashes to a cocktail. When the aging process is complete, the bitters are sent for bottling, packaging, and distribution. Indeed, Angostura aromatic bitters have become a bar staple as they are exported to over 200 countries worldwide. Now that you know a little of the background on bitters, let's start talking about some specifics. We'll begin with a sensory analysis of Angostura aromatic bitters. All of our senses become heightened when we smell something. Now, to properly evaluate the aromatics of Angostura, it's important that we first add an equal amount of water directly to the bitters. A quick swirl to incorporate the water and aerate the bitters. We bring it to our nose, but we want to breathe through our mouth. Oh, immediately bright, crisp notes of citrus, followed by baking spices. I get cinnamon, clove, and allspice. Next comes the dark chocolate and beautiful herbal notes. Needless to say, there is an awful lot going on in this glass, and it's all these wonderful flavors that will ultimately enhance my final cocktail. Now that we've evaluated the wonderful aromatics of Angostura bitters, let's explore their remarkable flavor-enhancing properties. When you think of cocktails, remember that bitters add a subtle, unique taste regardless of the base spirit. When added to alcoholic or non-alcoholic drinks alike, there's an additional layer of flavor, regardless of the base ingredient. In non-alcoholic drinks, they become crisper and more refreshing. And bitters adds a burst of flavor to carbonated drinks. Oh, the color of bitters gives vibrancy. It balances the acidity in citrus-based drinks and adds complexity to cream drinks. And the list goes on. Bitters adds a bright note to aged heavy rums. It smooths whiskey, matures a Manhattan, and marries beautifully with gin and vermouth. It also adds complexity to a simple drink, such as a rum and tonic. Apart from Angostura aromatic bitters being a unique flavor enhancer, it's also useful to know that it's sodium and gluten-free, 100% vegan, as well as kosher certified. If you want to get really technical, although Angostura bitters contains 44.7% alcohol by volume, each dash has an insignificant amount of alcohol. And as a non-potable bitter, it's not consumed as an alcoholic beverage, but utilized as a cocktail accent. Bitters have defined the cocktail from the beginning, one dash at a time. We actually know that this 200 milliliter bottle contains about 106 dashes, and most recipes will specify the number of dashes. The amount of bitters you can use, well, that's a matter of personal preference. Now, there is an art to dashing bitters. First, grip the bottle in the middle of your hand. Second, with the spout at a 45-degree angle to the glass, give a good, strong fist pump. And repeat. And repeat. Remember, it's dashes, not drops. For something like a Manhattan, I like to use 2 to 3 dashes. And for a non-alcoholic drink like a bitters and soda, well, I might add an extra dash or 2. Next, we simply stir well to incorporate the bitters and the soda. Add a squeeze of fresh lime. There you have a lovely non-alcoholic bitters and soda. Just a few dashes of bitters in any cocktail signifies the true sophistication of the drink. Cocktails such as the Lost and Forgotten Pegu Club have inspired modern-day mixologists to incorporate more than one type of bitters to craft an individual drink. the British Officers Club in Burma, was the birthplace of this drink. And it was a drink that Harry Craddock featured in his 1930 Savoy cocktail book as a drink enjoyed around the world. Unfortunately, the Pegu Club closed and the drink lost popularity, but thanks to our dear friend Audrey Saunders at the Pegu Club in New York City, the drink has enjoyed a revival. Now, it's a very, very simple drink, and we start off with fresh, hand-extracted lime juice. And it's always good to squeeze your lime juice fresh just before you make the cocktail. And I always recommend using a jigger to measure, especially the sweet and sour elements. So here we have a half an ounce of our fresh squeezed lime juice. To balance that, from the Dutch islands, we have Curacao. So to half an ounce of lime, we add 3/4 of an ounce orange Curacao. Next comes our London Dry Gin, of which we'll use 2 ounces. And this is where we'll combine some really interesting levels of flavor by using not only a good dash of Angostura orange bitters, but also a good dash of Angostura aromatic bitters. We'll ice up the Boston. Oh. I love that sound. We have our chilled cocktail glass. And we'll strain that out. Oh, look at that beautiful color from the bitters. Very simple garnish. We've decorated some thin cut slices of lime right on top. And there you have the classic Pegu Club. Now, my mom, who was a great chef, she loved to entertain. She always told me, Tony, never trust a skinny chef. You have got to taste everything. So whenever I set out to create a new cocktail, I always begin by tasting each of the individual ingredients. So with that said, we're going to taste a little bit of the Angostura 7-year rum and pick up the characteristics. Immediately you get that beautiful vanilla, caramel, butterscotch, toasted nuts. It's yummy. All right, so using a classic, the pina colada, as my inspiration, we're going to build a new drink together. So we'll start with 2 ounces of coconut cream. To that we add 2 ounces heavy cream. Two ounces of our Angostura 7-year. No, 2.5. And we're going to substitute the pineapple in the pina colada for fresh banana, because I think banana is going to work so beautifully with the notes coming from that 7-year rum. So we'll put some fresh banana in, and to give it another layer yet of flavor and complexity, 3 good dashes of Angostura aromatic bitters. And a little tip for you. Whenever you're using a blender, always put the liquid ingredients into the tin first and then add your ice. We're going to add a good cup of ice, and it's always easier to go back and add ice than take ice away. So put that on and give it a good That's delicious. It's always good to have a cocktail while you're making a cocktail. right. Nice. Beautiful texture. We'll just cut ourselves a simple garnish. And it was Mencken who once wrote that there'll never again be a totally original cocktail, just variations on cocktails that have come before it. Well, the pina colada is a classic that has come before this, but this is a really wonderful interpretation. Cheers. We've talked about the technical facts surrounding Angostura aromatic bitters. We've learned a lot about its unique properties. Indeed, there are many aspects to this product. Like, for instance, did you know that Angostura aromatic bitters are used in the royal household? And they hold a royal warrant of appointment to the Queen of England. Or, did you know that bitters will stain if spilt on clothes or wood? In fact, in Seattle, Jamie Boudreau, owner of the Cannon Bar, used Angostura aromatic bitters to stain and decorate the wood in his bar. Also, some people have actually used it as a mosquito repellent, and they say it works. Have you ever wondered why the label is oversized? Well, some say it's because of the laid-back Caribbean attitude. It was in fact a mistake. The manufacturer ordered the wrong size label and decided to use it, and it has since become iconic. Angostura bitters? Well, they're not really bitter when added to food or drink. As we move forward, I hope you've enjoyed this look back at how Angostura's history has contributed to making a great drink. In life, when crafting a great cocktail, you'll only get out of it what you put into it. So always insist on using the finest ingredients. Cheers.
Uh-huh.